tonight. If I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. When I'm home. I was just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the nightmare. But when I stopped to see through sight, begging for help, begging for hope, just need to open my eyes now to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I've gotta try. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome race fans. We're live tonight here at Kentucky Speedway. And we're about to look here. It's not the Kentucky Derby, but we definitely got some bad, fast boys and some awesome hot rods here tonight. About to do battle here at ExtremeMotorsports99.com Cup Series. Some of the best that iRacing has to offer, along with ExtremeMotorsports99.com. It was interesting. Last night's race, man, what a thriller. Alan J. Elwood pulled this thing off in fine fashion. Well, as always, Joe White up here in the booth. Well, I'm accompanied by two gentlemen tonight, and that would be Ethan Kurtz and Davis Richards. Ethan, how you doing?
I'm doing well tonight. Should be an interesting race tonight. The track has been tough. It was tough last night, and I've heard it's tough tonight.
Absolutely. Well, welcome back up, Art Davis, and congratulations on the college grad there. So how you doing tonight, Davis?
Hey, Joe, I appreciate that. I'm doing really well tonight. It's been a while since I've been on here. We were just talking about it. I'm out of the loop on everything that's been going on, but I'm ready for a good race tonight. Like you said, some of the best drivers iRacing has to offer, and they're going to put on a show tonight. You better believe it.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we want to welcome all the viewers out there, as always, live YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, live here tonight. Kentucky, under the lights here. This track is unique. I like this place. Kind of one of the first wins here in iRacing. Like you said, though, Davis, man, we got two races. One more race after tonight. We start the chase. That's another thing to keep in mind. Off next week due to Christmas holiday. But after that, we go to Michigan, and the chase starts. Well, folks, we're going to get this thing geared up here. We'll get these guys gridded up for you. It's going to be awesome here. And to get it up, I'm going to let these two gentlemen, man, call a lot of this action here tonight, because it's going to be a thriller nonetheless here. But as we grid these cars up, let me get my grid here. Tyler Ducharme puts it on pole here tonight. And Mr. Extreme himself, Mike Rominger, out in second. Dylan Landry right there, one of the Corgi team members, sitting in third. Tom Whitmore right there in fourth. Aaron Ariotti, the SRA guy, starting fifth. There it is, Mr. Call him the showstopper. Delonte Ballard sitting sixth. Steve Landry in seventh. Mason Weitzel sitting in eighth place. Tyler Sifford, Mr. Popular there in ninth. And Bobby Cheney, Mr. Consistency himself, rounds out the top 10. We look through the rest of the field, and it's star-studded. Like I said before, some of the best out here tonight, guys.
You're absolutely right, Joe. And me and Ethan, we're going to have a mouthful up here, because there's going to be a lot of action every single corner. Like you said, we seen the Xfinity Series race last night. Anything can happen at any given lap.
Absolutely. Well, these boys, man, of Extreme here tonight, grid this thing up and get set here to do battle tonight under the lights here in Kentucky. It's going to be a very, very awesome race. Well, gentlemen, I'm going to let y'all lead these guys off the pace laps here, and let y'all battle out, man, who it is. I'll chime in here from time to time and pump this crowd up out here. It's going to be interesting under the lights. There you go.
Yes, sir. It was a tough track all night last night. Didn't really change. Me and Davis raced it. Track didn't change much. I've heard that's not going to be the same tonight. I heard it's going to change over the course of the race, and it'll be interesting to see how these drivers adapt to that.
It will, as that clock has struck zero, and these guys are about to come off pit road. You got to be looking at a lot of guys out here. You got Tyler Ducharme with the pole, Mike Rominger in second. But another guy that didn't qualify that we're going to have to watch come through the front, and that's Jake Nichols.
Yes, sir. He struggled a little bit last night. Well, not one of his best races for sure. I'll be definitely looking for him, Nate Trado, and Cameron Hearn to definitely be looking to get their way to the front.
Well, they're rolling off right now, too deep, going into one. And that pace car drops, it's going to be a thriller.
Yes, sir, it is. Two expected people coming to starting on the front row here. Mr. Mike Rominger, aka Mr. Extreme, and Tyler Ducharme here, one of the SRA guys. Joe likes to say it. SRA, they brought them in to be competition to Jake Nichols, and obviously they're showing what they can do tonight. Is one of their guys is on the front row, and they got guys all spread throughout the field. Delonte Ballard in 6th, and Ariotti also in 5th.
Well, they're going into 3 right now, looking to pull off here at any given moment. There's a lot of drivers up here looking to clinch their spot in the chase.
Sir Pace car's getting ready to pull off out of turn number 4 here. Like we keep saying, Tyler Ducharme's going to lead them off into green. Here we go. Here comes the pace car. Tyler Ducharme's going to lead them down to the green flag here. Green flag's out.
And we see Tyler Ducharme in the number 25. He gets about a 3-car length advantage. Then you got the number 15 of Dylan Landry going below the 9 of Mike Rominger, with the number 6 of Tom Whitmore chasing right behind him. We've seen it before. Tom Whitmore has a very strong short-run car, but we're going to have to see if his tires are going to be able to hold on and see if he can find his way up to the front.
Yes, sir. Mike Rominger not getting the start he wanted, already back to 4th as they fall into turn number 3. Too wide throughout the field here. The first leader out to about a 2nd lead there. And Tom Whitmore and Dylan Landry are going to be fighting for the 2nd spot.
As we're looking right now, the Stephen Landry in the 66, he backs up to the 21 of Delonte Ballard, and that's another guy that can show a lot of short-run speed. We watched him come throughout the field yesterday, and he was able to come up and get a top 10 finish out of the night.
Yes, sir. He's one that started in the back last night. He made his way through the field. He found something that works for him. It'll be interesting to see if he can use that same lane tonight, as he's going to try to get up to the first position here. And first 4 cars single file here as Delonte Ballard and Dylan Landry are going to be the first 2 side by side, as now they straighten out as about the first 7 or 8 cars are now single file and caution out.
We got a wreck in the back. It looks like Matt Hoover in the number 13 car was involved. Hate to see that. And the 00 of Nick Hunt.
Oh, guys, all right, man. Run to caution the first time tonight here. Let me rewind this thing back here for us here so that the viewers can actually check out what's going on and see what might happen here on this restart. You guys are doing a great job up there in the booth, man, by the way. Yeah, it looks like the 00 lost it going into the turn. Matt Hoover, man, just a victim of circumstances there, nowhere to go. And just one of those deals, man. Racing incident. 2 drivers, man, taking up the same real estate. Unfortunate, man, there on Matt Hoover's part. And again, like we always say, guys, there is no fast fixes here. Once you tear up one of these machines, it's all or nothing out here.
Yeah, you're right, Joe, it is. And one thing I noticed last night from racing the Xfinity Series, if you get some damage in that car, it affects it. Necessarily won't affecting an engine, but it affects the handling of it, and it wants to drive like a tank going into those corners.
Yes, sir. And something interesting that we'll be looking at tonight is tires. They wore a lot last night. You had to come down every pit stop for them pretty much, or every caution for them pretty much. Interesting to see here as here comes the field now. I thought it was open this time, but pit road's open this time, and we're going to see the 15 of Stephen Landry, or Dylan Landry, excuse me, stay out, and the majority of the field's actually going to stay out, looking to try to fake a couple people out there, it looks like.
It looks like the number 9 of Mike Rominger had a passenger along for that ride. He went to go fake down in pit road and took the commitment cone with him.
That'll be interesting to see if he gets a little bit of a penalty there. It depends. iRacing's really picky about that cone sometimes, and it looks about how many 7 cars, including 7 cars, pretty much the top 7, I believe, stayed out under that caution, and the rest of the field pitted.
Yeah, there's really no reason to go down here except just the advantage is very, very small. There's really no reason to go down pit road right now. We've only been about 3 green flag laps. Speaking of that, Joe, I know it's been 3 green flag laps, but what have you seen so far?
Well, so far, man, it's been about like it was last night. These guys, man, just putting it all on the line here. This is a track where it definitely is very, very tricky. I mean, these cars, I've always said it before, they're finesse-style machines out here, and you've got to drive them. You can't manhandle them like a truck or the Xfinity car. You can kind of get away with manhandling them machines, but this is a new build. Obviously, a couple weeks ago, iRacing did the new build. First time I've seen it on this track. Although they do look like that they're using the same grooves that they did before. As time will tell. We had some good long green flag runs last night. And with that, we got to see what tire wear was. That's another thing, tire wear. And we'll have to see how hard it is to pass here tonight.
Well, you mentioned the tire wear, and you mentioned the race last night. You were in the booth the whole race. Did you see the drivers switching up the lines, or were they mainly running the same line the entire race?
for the most part, it looked like they were running the same line. You could use that inside line to actually pass. But I'm going to tell you, it was a tough one. Once you got out front, I mean, obviously nobody had any. I mean, the man of the hour was Alan J. Elwood. He had a rocket ship. But once you got up front, it looked like, you know, you were out there, because we saw guys later on in the race take no tires or take two and were able to maintain. So I think track position could play a factor tonight. Just got to see if we get that long green flag run.
We definitely will. And Ethan, you were out there too. Do you have any thoughts or opinions on the situation of the track last night that might come into play tonight?
I think it's going to be earlier on in this race. The track was always tight last night. It did not change much at all, if at all. And I've been talking to a couple of these drivers out here tonight, and they have been saying the track is definitely going to change. They've been saying it's going to become a lot more loose as the race goes on, and it'll be interesting to see how these drivers adapt. But some of these drivers that raced last night, like Tom Wetmore, Delonte Ballard, Mason Witzel, Tyler Sifford, Jake Nichols, Cameron Hearn, they're definitely going to be able to look to use what they learned last night on this short run before the track really starts to rubber in.
And you're absolutely right. Now, as I'm looking at the rundown, we got Jake Nichols in 12th. Bobby Cheney's up in the 8th position after starting in 10th. Tyler and Sifford's in 7th. So there's a few of the drivers we're going to have to keep an eye on throughout the night.
Yes, sir, it is. A couple of these drivers definitely started out in the back. I think it was mainly by choice. I know Jake didn't qualify last night because he didn't know how the track and the cars were going to be, but definitely going to start making his way up through the field, trying to fight that track position disadvantage y'all were talking about earlier as they go into turn 3, getting ready to go back and hit those loud pedals and bring us back to green flag racing.
You're right, as they're side by side right now. You got Tyler DeSharm in first, Tom Whitmore in second. That's a driver to watch as well. See if he can use that outside line to his advantage going into 1. And as we got the pace car, it's about to drop, it goes down pit road, and here we go. Green flag's out.
Green flag's out. Tyler Ducharme getting the green flag, getting off to his little advantage there the leader has, and Tom Wetmore getting a decent restart here. Mike Rominger is going to battle to the inside to look for second as they're going to start to single out coming through turns 1 and 2 as Tom Wetmore secures that second position.
And we see Delonte lose a bit of ground on the bottom to the number 24 of Bobby Cheney. Oh, I'm sorry. That would be the number, 24 of Bobby Cheney. As we've seen him throughout the season, he's very consistent. We don't talk a lot about him at the first of the race, but he seems to make his way into that top 10 by the time the checkered flag falls.
Speaking of top 10, Jake Nichols out there battling for the 9th position, I believe, with James Thorndike, who's had a solid run. You know, it's early, but he's had a solid run throughout this race in the early stages of it as we start to work on lap 9 down the backstretch and into turns 3 and 4. Really the top, I don't know, about 8 cars are single file, and then you got that battle between Nichols and Thorndike, and then it's single file back through the rest of the field.
You see anything back there, Joe?
So far, single file line here tonight at Kentucky. I mean, these guys are battling out. This car, definitely a different animal from what it was last night. You know, the Xfinity car, obviously you can get out there a little bit on newer tires and battle it out. You know, we've seen these guys here be a little bit more patient. Maybe some of these guys learned something from last night. Interesting to see. Like I said, Jake's on the move up front. Bobby Cheney's right there in 6th. I mean, you got the heavy hitters, man, right there in the top 10 already tonight.
And Joe, like you said, you're giving us a little bit of the lead on this broadcast tonight. But when you get the chance, if you can take a look at those point standings, maybe you can keep us updated on who's in and who's out and how many points or positions they need to get to lock themselves in the chase before we get to Michigan on the final race.
All right, we'll see if we can't get an update on that.
And right now, we're looking at a battle right here between the 24 of Bobby Cheney and the 21 of Delonte Ballard. Delonte Ballard's using that low line, but the 24 is hanging there really tight. He's got the 7 of Tyler Sifford right behind him, and the 73 of Jake Nichols. Notice with Jake Nichols, we talk about him a lot, but he just waits for his moment. He doesn't get up there and get on their bumper. He just kind of sets back, waits for him to make a mistake, and then hits his mark and gets by him.
Yeah, teammates in this league, they're looking to make it a 4-car battle now. I believe that's the 15 or the 66, excuse me, of Stephen Landry, looking to make that a 5-car battle up there for the, it's that 6th position, excuse me. And they're looking to get single filed out, and Tyler Sifford's going to have to go to work to defend against that number 66 Under Armour Chevy.
And you're right, and that 7 of Tyler Sifford, he's still looking on that low side. He can't quite clear him yet, but right now we're seeing a bunch of single file racing. There's a few battles here and there, but most of these drivers are just taking care of their equipment. Still early in the race. They got to make sure they have something for the end of this one.
Yes, sir, and this was a long race, 185 laps as we come to complete lap 13 this time by. Tyler Sifford trying to use that apron to clear at 66. They're still going to go side by side into turn 1 and 2. Sifford going to be looking to get a little bit loose there under the 66. He's going to keep it straight, it looks like, and they'll settle back in behind that 66.
Very good job of him of keeping that thing straight and not getting into any more trouble than what could have been. But I don't know about you. We talked about it's 185 laps, but last night it seemed like our longest race of the season. The race just seemed to keep going on and on and on.
Yeah, it did. There was a long green flag run there later in that race. About halfway through the race, there's a long green flag run where we had to pit once, or I believe it was twice, and then that caution came out to give us the finish that was what it was, and it was a great finish at that. And looks like there's mainly going to be single file, except for James Thorndike, who's continued to drop spots after this restart. Not going well for him right now. He'll look to regain those spots as Ryan Cobb's going to look to pass him on the inside now.
And Ryan Cobb, that's another driver that's been able to make a name for himself this season. This is his first season with ExtremeMotorsports99.com, and he's made some waves throughout this entire season.
Yeah, he's been really consistent so far. He racked up a 3rd place finish a couple weeks ago at Atlanta, I believe it was. The whole Corgi team has been really consistent throughout this season if they've been able to stay in it, and they're definitely going to be a threat once the chase starts.
Hey, Joe, were you able to pull up those points for us?
Got your points update right here, and was looking right through here. Well, you got a tight battle going on. The top 12, obviously, in any of the series, move on in the chase. Hey, there's 2 drivers up here, Ethan and Davis here. Y'all know that. And pass 1. But Tom Whitmore, we already know he's got a win here in the series in the Cups. So he is already locked in. He is sitting in 13th in points, so you got to take that out of the equation. But Nick Hunt, Dylan Landry, Delonte Ballard, Bryce Senesac, Mason Weitzel, from 12th up to 8th, there's only 20 points separating them going into the last race. And between 11th, or actually between 12th, 11th, and 12th and 11th, there's 4 points separating them. So definitely, it's tight, man, back there in that back. Probably I'm gonna say 8th on back. But if I'm not mistaken, Mason Weitzel actually has a win here in the Cup, so he's good. The ones you have to look at: Bryce Senesac, Delonte Ballard, Dylan Landry, and Nick Hunt. It's gonna be a fight to the end going into Michigan.
And Joe, we'll revisit that situation here in a second, but if you can give the viewers an eye of the number 51 and 59 on lap 18 down the backstretch. Looks like the 59 got loose, and when it did, he tapped the front quarter panel of the 51, and they got to check that save out.
Saw that, got it for him right there. Saw it live. Just got out of little shape just a little bit. That's Mike Franklin there in the 82, and obviously Mark Bratchard back there with Michael R. Muller. These guys right now, again, what y'all were talking about earlier on, they look like they're single file, taking it easy. These cars just are more of a handful than what the Xfinity car is. And I'm not taking anything away from the B car, this Xfinity car. But this thing right here, I call it the monster machine for a reason. It will snap out and bite you at any moment.
Yes, sir, and there's a couple names that I've been looking at during this lineup here that I've found are pretty interesting sitting in the back. You got Ariotti, Nick Trado, and Cameron Hearn sitting 13th, 14th, and 15th right now. Those guys definitely not accustomed to being that far back in the field. Ariotti qualified 5th, the other 2 qualified in the back. Just haven't been able to make up a lot of ground this early into the race, and they're definitely going to have to try to find something to be up front at the end.
You're right, and we're going to have to keep an eye on these drivers to get back to the point standings. We're going to have to keep an eye on David Shutt and Nick Hunt. And a bunch of these other drivers. It is a very close battle. And after missing the chase last year and being so close, I can tell you, racing 10 races and not being able to make it in, it hurts as a driver.
It hurt me as a driver. I barely made it in last season. I think it was only 1 or 2 points that put me into that chase, and that was nerve-wracking going into that last race at Michigan. And definitely these drivers do not want to be in that position today, as they're going to look to lock themselves in or have a nice enough points buffer where they don't have to worry about getting knocked out 2 weeks from now at Michigan.
And David Shutt, he's in that 11th position right now. He's going to have to try to find his way. Well, as I say that, he gets into the top 10, but if he can pick up a few more spots, I think he'll leave tonight and be in a really good position to make it in once we hit Michigan.
Somebody who's not feeling comfortable right now is Nick Hunt. He was involved in that first wreck right around I believe it was lap 8 or so. He's not going to be feeling too comfortable leaving here, as he's running almost, he's running 20th right now, really far off the pace, 17 seconds behind the leader, about half a track, and he's going to be the last one running in the field now, and that's not going to be comfortable for him, and he's going to want to, I would say, try to get that damage fixed if he has any left. I don't know if he has any left to repair, but he's definitely going to really be praying and trying to make up some spots and get some points back.
You're right, and then Dylan Landry right now is in that 3rd position. He's another one that's on the cusp. He's going to be able to try to keep that car clean, hold what he's got, and see if he can make it out alive.
Yeah, there's a good battle going on right now for the 5th position between Jake Nichols and Mason Witzel. They got into it a little bit last night. Mason Witzel spinning off the nose of Jake Nichols late in the race, causing Mason to lose his good finishing position, but they're going to be going back at it again. Looks like clean. I don't think they're going to affect anybody's race, especially this early, but I don't think they're going to mess anybody's race up now this late in the season, especially they're 2 of the fastest guys out on the racetrack, and they know they have a shot to win, so they're just going to run clean by each other for now.
And right now, back in the pack, we've got a bit of a battle between the 77 of Ariotti, 7 of Tyler Sifford, and 1 of David Shutt. As they're taking it right now, looks like they're single file right now. They were taking it 3 wide coming out of 2, but I think they thought better of it.
And something we'll have to look for tonight is the net code. There were a couple incidents last night that were net code, and definitely going to see if these drivers are going to be given a little bit more room. I know the net code's been getting worse and worse lately. It was really bad last week at Richmond, and we'll see if that affects the way these guys race tonight. I doubt it will, because these drivers are really fast and really clean, and they'll definitely be racing hard, but racing clean.
Joe, I know you've got that blimpy cam up to your disposal. Are you seeing any of these drivers change any lines? Are they still running that bottom or that lane up right above the yellow line?
Well, it looks like right now, I mean, the guys are, utilizing the same exact line that I'm accustomed to seeing here, which is, 1 lane up from the bottom there, kind of the middle style of the track, and letting that car drift as it goes into the turn. And that's why we're seeing a lot of these guys in a single file. And you're right, it's the blimpy cam. Everybody loves blimpy. I like blimpy. It just sounds cool. Gives you a good perspective of the area here, the track. Shows you how far apart these guys are. And, blimpy, hey, it's just a nice sounding word. Kind of one of them happy words. That's what I like saying.
Oh, we know Joe. He's got the Joe-isms and the happy words and everything. Hey, if there's a word or a saying, Joe will make it into a Joe-ism.
Gotta love it. And the race is good too. I mean, you gotta love that too. And I love it. Man, have fun here. And y'all doing a good job up here too, man. Just out here chatting with the viewers out here. And, they're loving the race, man. So far, it's going on here at Kentucky Speedway. I mean, these are some of the best of the best. We're talking about it a minute ago. These guys been out here. They're very, very calm, cool, and collective. I just see it right now. It looks like it's very difficult to pass out here. I mean, that's another thing. I don't know what y'all are seeing. Y'all drive cars week in and week out. I don't get to drive as much as what I used to. And so what y'all are seeing, y'all probably be able to tell a little bit better than I can, but it just seems like these guys out here just very, very difficult to actually to pass.
Well, Joe, I like that you hit on that because these last few races with this new build, it's been very difficult to pass. Now, we were at Richmond last race. That's a short track. It's always hard to pass at a short track. And in Kentucky, it's 1.5 miles, but it kind of behaves like a short track. So I'm not sure if it's just the tracks we've been to or if it's the new build, but I've had a lot of problems passing people, and I've been able to tell that track position is king.
Yeah,
what do you feel on it, Ethan?
I was going to agree with him, especially last night. This track is very hard to pass, like he said. The new build, I haven't had a lot of experience on it yet. I'll definitely be able to feel around November when the NASCAR Racing Series starts. But this is definitely one of these tracks where it's really hard to pass, and I think it's definitely going to be up to the drivers to see if they can make passes and get to the front and be able to save those tires. And we were talking about some of the drivers earlier, like Ariotti, he's back up to the 10th position. Nate Trado's made his way up to 14th, and Cameron Hearn behind him in 15th. Definitely going to be able to track their progress through the night as they're trying to make their way up to the front from the back.
And you're right, and right now we've got a bit of a battle between the 12th, 11th, and 13th spot right now. That's James Thorndike, the 66 is Stephen Landry, and the, sorry, I can't read that, 97 of Nate Trito.
Yes, sir, and there's 2 cars behind them trying to knock on the door and say they want a piece of the action. The 7 of Tyler Shifford and the 67 of Cameron Hearn, and it's going to be looking like the 66 of Stephen Landry going to pull off to pit road. Maybe a little bit of pit strategy going on here early, and now it's going to be a 4-car battle for that 11th spot.
And as the 66 hit pit road, he spun out on entrance, and I've seen that last night as well. It's really hard to get onto pit road with this new build.
Yeah, very sketchy pit road to get onto here, especially on old tires. The track's hard to drive on old tires, period, but especially getting onto pit road for sure. And Tyler Shifford going to have to defend against that 67 of Cameron Hearn. 67 of Cameron Hearn joining a new team, HK Motorsports, owned by myself and Cameron. Tom Wetmore joining us on that team for now, but just a little bit of team info there. And Tyler Shifford, part of Jake Nichols' group there, and they're going to be battling for that 13th spot.
Nice promo shout out there, as you heard the man. But as I seen that 66, I mentioned he spun out hitting on pit road, and he also overshot his pit box. And that's another thing I've noticed with this new build, is it seems like they've changed the pit box and made it very tight to get into, because I don't think I've been through a pit stop without overshooting it yet.
No, they definitely made those pit stops smaller with the release of animated pit crews. I think they made your window a lot tighter. That did not help me a couple times last night. That was not fun, but yeah, they've definitely made it more difficult to get into your box and get that pit road service done.
And we'll give the mic back to the one and only Joe White. You see anything out there that's caught your eye so far?
So far, so good, man. The guys are still, man, poised and calm, cool, and collective. I guess that's the word to use, as they're all single file here. Tyler Ducharme still in control of this one and has been from the get-go. Put it on pole here tonight and still leading his way here tonight. Got Tom Whitmore right there. And we do see Mike Rominger moving up on the back end. So you got a 3-4 car battle up front with Tom Whitmore, Mike Rominger, Dylan Landry, and actually Mason Weitzel, Delonte Ballard, Bobby Chaney, Jake Nichols, David Chutt, Ariotti. And I'm going to tell you, just going through those names, that's a who's who of ExtremeMotorsports99.com Cup Series drivers.
It really is, Joe. And you mentioned Tyler Ducharme. He's got a 2-second lead right now. And what I'm wondering if that clean air is just really helping him, because Tom Whitmore, Mike Rominger, and Dylan Landry, they have not been able to get away from each other this entire green flag run.
Well, you touched on it right there, and we talked about it earlier on, and y'all mentioned it there too as being drivers last night. I saw it in the broadcast there with the Xfinity Series here last night for Extreme Motorsports 99, that once you got out front, it was the best way. So maybe track position can be king here, excuse me. As me and Dave last night thought it might have been a bad idea not to pit or take 2 tires, but obviously, you know, we're not in the cars. I don't see, and we're seeing right now, once you get out front and get a good lead, it obviously can help you. But then again, you know, catch 22, that could backfire on you.
Yeah, it really could, Joe. And I'm just thinking it's just got to be this new build as we see in the real life. When these drivers in real life get a lead and get in front, they're able to take off with that clean air. And I think iRacing has just really just hit the nail on the head with getting the realism down.
Absolutely. Well, Nancy, no, you're not wrong. I'm here. We got Ethan Kurtz and Davis Richards up here in the booth, man, tonight. Appreciate the two guys coming up here, and figured, hey, why not let them do a lot of the commentating up here. I know Ethan's been grasping and just kind of like throwing rocks at me, wanting to get up here in the booth and do it, and Davis has always been up here with me, so I said, hey, why not, guys? I'll let y'all talk up a cool breeze. I do a lot of it myself, and I'll chime in from time to time here, because we are here live tonight at Kentucky Speedway, ExtremeMotorsports99.com Cup Series, and Tyler Ducharme's your leader out front right now. That's another guy. I need to look at the points right fast, guys, just to see where Tyler is. Now, I don't know if he's made enough races to qualify in the chase or not. Maybe I'll have to do some digging and researching if I can to find that out. But if he wins, obviously, you know, could put him in that point, man, to be in the chase.
Well, Joe, I'm looking right now, too, and he's started 5 races. Maybe you can refresh the viewers on how many you need to race to qualify for the chase?
8 races. Okay, if he's only had 5, then it wouldn't matter what he does at this point. You have to have 8 races or in the top 20 in points. If you win a race, obviously you have to have those qualifications to make the chase to begin with. So you have 2 races in a 10-race season, which obviously we're coming down to the line on that one. Michigan is our very last one. We're taking next week off the Christmas holiday. I hope everybody is excited about that as I am. I'm a big kid myself there, so I like the ho-ho man showing up. But after that, we go to Michigan, 1 race till the chase. So yeah, if he's only made 5, that would be 6, so it really wouldn't matter. So basically, he's out here for, hey, just to say, look, I want to win a race.
And you're right, he is. And we talked about it earlier in the race. There was a bit of drama last night, so he's coming out here. He's showing these drivers that he's for real. He can go out there and he can compete with the best of them.
Yes, sir, he is. He's definitely going to try to say, hey, I want to win, and I'm going to go do whatever I can to do it. And a lot of people pitting there. 4 of the leaders, and Tom Wetmore, Dylan Landry, Mike Rominger, and Delonte Ballard all pit.
And that was a really big checkup. I thought we were going to have a pile-up with the top 5 drivers right there.
Yeah, that was definitely a scary incident for sure. I think they were waiting for Tyler Ducharme to pit as the 4 behind him all came down the pit road to get 4 tires and full tank of fuel.
Monkey see, monkey do, and these drivers are just got to follow along with them. But, you know, throw some pit strategy in here. Maybe on the next green flag run, pit a couple laps for them, see if that track position will help, and if they can hold them off throughout the run. And right now we see these drivers making it around the track, and these drivers have to stay below that yellow line. They cannot come up on the racing surface until they hit the back stretch. We've seen a few penalties last night with drivers coming up too early and had to do a stop and go.
Yeah, definitely a couple of drivers going there before, and the big worry tonight is going to be about that right front tire as pit stops come to fruition here and drivers cycle through them, and that right front tire definitely going to be the downfall of some drivers tonight, being able to save that enough. I know last night me and my group of people there had some tire wears into the 60s in the right front, low 60s in the right front here, and I heard a couple drivers over there, little TeamSpeak channel, saying they had a 71% right front tire left, which is a very low amount for this short of a run because we're on short fuel.
And just to give these viewers perspective of how much 4 tires help you, our leader right now is James Thorndike. He ran at 33.2. Tyler Ducharme just pitted, ran a full lap, and ran at 30.037. That's over 2 seconds of a difference.
Yeah, that's what we keep talking about, is most of these drivers are going to end their pit stops here, and they're going to finally hit pit road and give up their track position. Cameron Hearn looks like he's going to beat Nate Trado out of pit road there. as James Thorndike still your leader. He has yet to pit, as he's entering pit road now. Excuse me.
Right now we got Nate Trito. He's coming off the pit road. It's really hard to see his number. He's got that yellow paint scheme going on with the black Valvoline. And then Cameron Hearn is right ahead of him, like you mentioned. He beat him off pit road. And we're going to have to look at Tyler Ducharme as he tries to make his way back up. I know some drivers pitted early, like the 73 of Jake Nichols. Going to have to see if Tyler Ducharme can chase him down and pass him as we get longer in this green flag run.
Yeah, unless Tyler Ducharme's really burning off his tires, I think he'll definitely be able to pass those guys. And those guys like Jake are definitely going to be looking for a caution now to stay in front of Tyler, as they're going to pit here if the caution comes out, almost for sure. And people like James and Mason Witzel and Nick Hunt and Mike Franklin are definitely looking for cautions.
Yeah, but another driver to keep an eye on this 10th in points. That's Delonte Ballard in the number 21, as he's right now running in the 10th position. And green flag pit stop should just be about over. I think he's got a few more drivers left, so I think he'll probably make his way up into the 8th spot once everything is said and done here.
Yeah, Delonte Ballard was looking forward to Richmond last week. Didn't go as well as he planned. He got into a couple wrecks there, and definitely looking to rebound to get his spot into the chase locked in. Obviously, these drivers want to win, but if they can't win tonight, they're going to want to look to get as many points as possible to buffer that gap to the cut line in the chase as we go into Michigan in a couple weeks. Tyler Ducharme starting to make his way past some drivers that pitted before him, like Jake Nichols. Jake Nichols falling behind Tyler Ducharme now, as Ryan Cobb is going to lose his spot to Tyler Ducharme, and Tyler Ducharme's going to come up and reassume the lead. And his lead's grown a little bit on Tom Wetmore, and Mike Franklin, but Tom Wetmore will be running second after these pit stops fully cycle through. But Tyler Ducharme has really extended his lead over Tom Wetmore.
And Joe, maybe you can tell us, Mason Wetzel right now, he's in the lead. He's got about a 2.7 second lead. Could you tell us how many laps early he pitted?
Not sure how many laps early he pitted. I know right now his lap times maybe about a half a second, off from actually Tyler Ducharme. I will be able to say this, after last night watching Alan J. Elwood, when he got marred back in traffic, he came through the field, and I thought right off, me and Dave was talking about it, and we touched on it earlier on tire wear, and I thought, man, the way he was coming through, not picking them up, knocking them down, Alan was last night, that he was using an awful lot of tire, and by the time he got out there, he would done used up the tire wear. But he found something on this track, and I see Tyler Ducharme has done the same thing, and he's making very good clean passes. And we'll go ahead and say it. Last week, not one of the better races for Tyler Ducharme. He got into a lot of, got into some cars last week, and it's just one of those deals. Bad track, bad race for him. Well, tonight, man, it is a 180 spin on it. He's bounced back so far. He is definitely the car to beat on the track, and it's kind of unusual for us to say it because we're used to saying Jake Nichols, the Superman out there, just dominating a lot.
And I know this new build, it catered towards people that save tires. It's always talked about Jake Nichols being able to really save tires, but I mean, we're seeing guys out here that we're used to seeing short run speed out of them and falling off on the long run. We're seeing them up near the front on those longer green flag runs.
You know what, you're right. I've noticed that too. They said it did cater if guys actually wanted to get up there and run hard, you can, or if you wanted to save your tires. I got a feeling right now, when you speak about Jake right there, he didn't qualify tonight. He got pulled way back in the middle of the pack in traffic. He's been able to run it up to the front there. He's up right in fourth. He's trying to fill this thing out. You got to remember something too. Mason, Jake, Tom, all those guys right there, and just to name a few of them, they're already locked into the chase going in. Now their time is to try to figure out what this build is going into the chase, because that's where it counts. They got to figure out what this car will do, what they can do, what they can't do in it. And I think that's what's happening right now. You're seeing Jake is trying to, because last night at the end he did pick the pace up. So it's early. We've only hit lap 57 of 185. We got a lot of racing left to do. So all these drivers have time. And I know as y'all two drivers up there, hey man, y'all definitely know what these guys are going through out here.
Oh yeah, we do for sure. It's always been hard for me to master the art of saving tires. I definitely got the hang of it last season in the Cup Series finale at Homestead, and then I kind of lost it again, especially with this new build. I'm having to relearn these cars that I don't race as often as I probably should. I really need to get practicing some more. But these cars are definitely difficult to work with and save tires with, to be able to stay fast and save tire.
Let me ask real quick. I was talking to some of the drivers and mentioned Jake about how he's doing. He mentioned something last night. I actually see some damage on the right side of the car of his. But he mentioned something. Maybe you two could actually, kind of talk in on this a little bit since y'all do drive. He said feeling that last night and maybe tonight, since this is an under the lights here at Kentucky style race, it's a tight feeling in the car. I know what he means by the car just being tight. It's not as loose, and it just feels like that this track here this week, he's just not comfortable in that car. He wasn't last night when he talked about it. How do y'all feel? Do y'all like, he likes a looser style car. How do y'all feel? Do y'all like looser or a tighter style car?
Well, Joe, I'm glad you brought that up too, because if y'all remember last week when you did the interview with me at Richmond, I was just moaning and groaning about the car being really tight and acting like a tank. And it was the same thing here last night. The car just felt like a tank. Felt like I was having to just grab up and saw the wheel. I wasn't able to let it drive like you are with a loose race car. I love a loose race car. If you fans remember, what was it, 6-7 months ago, the Xfinity series, they were really, really loose. Like you were fighting that thing throughout the corner, just trying to keep her straight, and I loved it. I was able to get up there, fight with them, battle up in the top 3. But these tight cars, I do not like them.
How about you, Ethan?
I'd like the middle where it's comfortable and fast, but if I had to pick, I'd like to go towards the looser side a little bit, not wrecking loose. And that's really hard to save tires in both styles of car. You have to be more careful on the gas to not, get those wheels spinning and kick that sideways and lose those tires. But it's the same thing in the tight side. You have to make sure you don't hit the gas too much and have to turn the wheel some more and burn the tires off that way. But I like to lean towards a looser car more, which is funny because you can ask Jake and Nate and Tyler Sifford and, the guys I hang out with down there. I am not the best dirt car racer, and those cars act more like loose cars than tight cars, obviously, but definitely like to lean more towards a looser car than a tight car.
Well, I agree. I agree with you. I'm not much on the loose side, but you're right. If you're loose, you're going to burn the back tires off of it. Tight, you're going to burn the front tires off. Most notably the front right and the rear right of those things. So, it is a balancing act when you do these cars out here. Nancy goes, she's always heard loose is fast. You're right, to a certain extent. Obviously, you can lose a lot of time if you're out here constantly drifting. If you, the old saying or old adage is, if you can keep in the gas while you're sideways or sliding, 9 times out of 10 you're going to be fast. It's when you have to crack that throttle when you're loose is when you're losing time. And also when you're tight too, heading up to that wall, you got to crack that throttle. You're going to lose a lot of time. And I see we're talking about Jake. He's obviously hurting with that damage. Again, not so much, man, in a threat here tonight. He's already won several races. He's locked into the chase. Here's just trying to fill this thing out. See a good battle going on. Mike Rominger, Dylan Landry. I know you spoke with the Corgi team there. And from my understanding, that's a dog. I know Davis probably knows more about it because he's the college guy here.
Yeah, and we've talked about him before. He's sporting those UCF knots on his car tonight, and he's done it all season. And we're actually going to have to see if he can get up in the front. We've seen him getting a little bit of trouble with James Thorndike early in the race, and we're going to have to see if he can get this car up in the top 5 and see if he can be a factor at the end of tonight.
Yes, sir, that 51 University of Central Florida Chevy. I'm going to be rooting against them on New Year's Day. I'm a big Auburn fan myself, so we're playing each other in the Chick-fil-A Sugar Bowl on New Year's Day. So I'm going to be rooting for Auburn there to beat the UCF Knights. But Yeah, definitely Ryan Cobb, one of the, you could say dark nights because he's running nights on the car, a little bit of a pun there, but he's been consistent all night, not where he wants to be right now in 17th place, but we still have 120 laps to go. There's plenty of time for him to get back up there, just over a third of the way through, but obviously not where he wants to be a lap down right now.
And you're right, he is a lot down right now. We're going to have to see. Maybe he'll try to short pit, see if he can gain some more track position. And we've been on a really long green flag run. First caution came out at lap 3, and it is lap 66 right now.
Yeah, it's been a long run for sure, and that's what some of these drivers are dreading out there for now. Or that's what those drivers were dreading out here before this race started, was long green flag runs. We had a long one last night, and when you're driving, it's really tough because you have to make sure you don't lose your concentration, or else you're going to go into that wall, or you're going to make a mistake that you're going to regret. But I mean, these long runs can get really boring and really tiring sometimes. But obviously, you don't want to caution fest, but caution here and then breaks it up.
All right, and as soon as we get to talking about caution, there's always a caution. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that right now. But I'm looking through the field, and we've got a bit of a battle right here around the 7th place position between David Shutt and the 15 of Dylan Landry. And there's almost a wreck right there. He's still spinning. Is he going to save it? He does. The one of David Shutt is able to save it. I do not know how he held on to that thing.
And Delonte Ballard's going to try to split them, make it 3 wide, and Jake Nichols in the back of that pack, he's going to look to make it past them. And that was a great save by that number 1 of David Shutt to keep it straight and not cause a caution.
We're going to see if
3 SRA. Go ahead, excuse me.
And then we're going to see if he's got a bit of rear end damage from that. Were you able to get an eye and see who actually got into the back of him?
That was the 15 of Dylan Landry. There are 3 SRA guys up there, David Shutt, Delonte Ballard, and Ariotti, that are battling right there before that wreck. Ariotti's backed off a little bit. They're going to go back to battling like nothing even happened, as Dylan Landry's got about 3 car length lead over them.
Yeah, it's probably the smartest move right now. You said it, Ariotti kind of backed off, let these drivers do their thing, let them burn off their tires, and then go up there and get it.
Yes, sir, that's definitely going to be a good strategy for tonight, and that's what I was doing last night, kind of saving my tires and passing people in the long run. But like, still a long way to go, over 100 laps to go still as we start lap 72.
Yeah, still got a long one ahead of us right now. Now the drivers are single file throughout the field, just winding down the laps before they can try to start making their moves, get up there. And we should be starting to see some green flag pit stops within the next 6, 7, 8 laps.
Yes, sir. And definitely going to see people like Jake Nichols start to pit first. Maybe people later in the field trying to gain some track position and unlap themselves here. Is, I believe somebody just pitted. Maybe not. I was mistaken there, but Ryan Cobb may have pitted. He's blown by a couple of these cars here, Ariotti, and then now he's going to set his sights on Delonte Ballard here. I believe Ryan Cobb just pitted. We'll have to go back and check that to be sure, but green flag pit stop's definitely going to start soon.
But we've seen some drivers short pit early in this race, but it doesn't seem to matter. It's that 25 of Tyler Ducharme. He's up to a 3.9 second lead. He's still running 32.7 since he is putting a beating on the field tonight.
Yes, sir, he is. He's not letting anybody else have that limelight up there. We haven't been talking about him a lot, but like you said, he's just waxing the field here tonight. Like you said, up to almost a 4-second lead over Tom Wetmore, and then now Mason Witzel has commandeered that third spot. Is actually there. It's going to be a side-by-side battle for that third spot between Mike and Mason.
Right, we got battles all over right now. The 51 tries to get by him. He's got the fresher tires in the middle of the pack. And then we've got Mason Witzel and who's it, Mike Rominger battling out right now for that third position. And we're going to see the 99 of Mason Witzel. He's going to head down pit road and get 4 fresh tires and a tank of fuel.
Yes, sir. I'm sure we'll certainly see him start to influence a couple of his people's decisions this pit here. I'm sure we're looking for Jake Nichols to pit. He started in 20th. He's up to 10th, and Cameron Hearn and Nate Trado have not been able to separate themselves from one another tonight. Running nose to tail all night. They started 21st and 22nd. Nate Trado leading the two of them in 8th, and Cameron Hearn following in 9th.
And Joe, take us through a few of these battles right now that are taking place on track.
Well, you got, like you said, Tyler Ducharme's just putting a beating on the field here. Looks just like, a mix of what Alan J. Elwood did last night, and he's got a 4-second lead. And you talk about it, the biggest battle right here, though, has got to be for 6th, 7th, and 8th spot. As you see a couple SRA guys along with the Corgi team guys right there. Dylan Landry, Delonte Ballard, you got Cameron Hearn in the mix, right? And you also got, like I said, Nate Trito. Jake Nichols just off the pace. I think that damage and the fact of what he was talking about before, this track just does not suit him here tonight, falling off, I always say it, like a rock in water going backwards. But good battle going on between those guys. Hey, we talk about it, SRA a lot. Those guys, like I've said, the unhauled, they come over here with their team and have done amazing things. But as a team, though, and we're seeing it through this race, they will beat and bang on one another. They will race each other very, very hard out here. And you're seeing it. David Shutt out there earlier on, along with Delonte, Jake and all them guys, man, they definitely will do it. And what do we, I got to just say it, what a transformation of a turn of events, so to speak, for Tyler Ducharme. If he holds on and wins this race, coming out of Richmond last week, he might as well just check that off as a disaster of an evening for him. Just not one of the nights that he would like to go back and relive. But tonight, he has just turned it up to another level and is out front just dominating. And what a win for SRA that would be. Obviously, Tom Whitmore right there behind him. I got to give props to Mike Rominger. We hadn't really seen him in the past, y'all. And we know he's good. He's got that Napa know-how machine. He definitely knows how to get around this track very, very well. But we haven't seen him have the races that he would like. Always maybe sometimes getting caught up in there. Qualifying's not the best. But tonight, looking good. Looked good last night. Maybe a turn of events for him here going into the chase.
Yeah, he would definitely enjoy that, and I'm sure that everybody else at SRA would too. Definitely going to be feeding off the energy from one another, and that teamwork's definitely going to come into play. The first chase race is Talladega Super Speedway, Talladega, Alabama, our biggest track on the NASCAR circuit at 2.66 miles. It's a super speedway like Daytona, pedal to the metal all the way around the track, drafting each other, and that's where the teamwork's going to be big. Is big teams like SRA with multiple 4 or 5 guys are going to definitely want to work together, while the guys like 2 or 3 guys, like Corgi, like the Jake Nichols group, like HK Motorsports, are definitely going to be at a disadvantage, as they're going to have to team up with different teams to try to be up there at the end of that race later in the season.
And you're right, we've got battles all over the track, as about half of these drivers have went down pit road and the other half are staying out. And we've got a wreck right now, the one of David Shutt goes spinning. He's still able to hold it on, but the caution still comes out.
Yeah, caution out right there. Let's go back on the replay. Not 100% sure on if that was the cause of the caution, but we saw David Shutt right there. He's out here doing his best Vaughn Griffin Jr. slide job, as it looks like the 77 Ariati, and we were just talking about it. 2 SRA guys. They're teammates out there. I know he's probably in the chat going, hey man, we're a little bit early to be trying to do that. Bump and run. Just got into the rear quarter panel of him a little bit. No harm, no foul, but did trigger the caution at iRacing. It's kind of unusual, that would. But nonetheless, caution out here tonight. And I'm going to say it's for an awesome drift job by the one machine. We call him the Nightmare here. And that'd be David Shutt right there. So puts Tyler Ducharme still up front, leading this one here. Kentucky Speedway here, folks. ExtremeMotorsports99.com Cup Series. Been a very, very good race. We're at lap 83 of 185 here in the books. Well, I think this would be a very, very good time. Step away, take a quick commercial break here, and we'll be right back, man, after this, because it's been a good one so far. All right, folks, we're back here, and we're back green flag racing here at Kentucky Speedway. That's right, ExtremeMotorsports99.com Cup Series. Tyler Ducharme, well, he shot out like a rocket right there over Ariotti, the number 77. We call him the hitman here. And he definitely he's one of the hitmen for the SRA camp. So a couple SRA drivers up front right now, controlling this field. And I say that, you got the showstopper right there, along with Mike Rominger, Cameron Hearn, David Shutt, Nate Trito, James Thorndike, Tyler Sifford, and Michael R. Mueller. That rounds out the top 10 with guys. Man, business is picking up a little bit here. We're at lap 89 and 185.
And it is right now. As we've seen, that caution came out. Had a few drivers had to take the wave around. Be the 73 of Jake Nichols, 24 of Bobby Chaney, 15 of Dylan Landry. But the 51 of Ryan Cobb, he was able to get the lucky dog.
Yes, sir. Very unfortunate for those guys, but lucky enough they got that lucky dog back. The tire's not too old, so that shouldn't affect him too much. Like you said, the defending champion Jake Nichols getting caught a lot down there, having to reset. I believe Tom Whitmore was involved in that. That had to take the wave around too. He's up to, I believe, 11th. Yeah, 11th place, and 3 SRA guys. Like Joe said earlier, 3 of the SRA guys are top 3 right now. But you got a couple, Cameron Hearn and Mike Rominger, trying to shut that down and trying to get them up there.
And you're right now, as we got a bit of a 3-way battle. 9 of Mike Rominger, 1 of David Strott, and the 67 of Cameron Hearn, as they're battling side by side, almost taking it 3 wide going through the tri-oval. And the 9 of Mike Rominger gets loose and has to chase it down the track.
That was a great save by him, and he's going to start to lose a couple spots too. Cameron Hearn and David Shutt's going to try to get by him now. Nate Trito is sitting on their back door back there in 7th, and so is James Thorndike, and then Tyler Sifford.
David Shutt, he's been beaten around like a pinata this whole race, but he's still been able to hold his own as he's right now in the 6th position. Gotta give our hats off to him.
Yeah, he's done a great job being able to keep it up there. He's side by side with Mike Rominger for, I believe that is 6th place right there. Definitely going to be wanting to look up and trying to improve their spots by 5 or so there. And Ariotti and Delonte Ballard have found something to keep up with Tyler Ducharme early in this run. Tyler's not pulling away as quickly as he did down that last run, and Ari's trying to have something to say about that in that number 77 Series XM Toyota Camry.
And you're right, I think these drivers realize they just can't lay back here and save tires. They got to try to get around that 25. See if they can let that clean air help them and help their car.
Well, yeah, a lot of these guys don't know what clean air is like. The guy in 2nd has been known to clean air a lot because Tyler Ducharme's just been pulling out to such a big lead. They've known what it feels like, but a lot of these drivers not knowing what a lot of clean air feels like. They've gotten a little bit on this long run, but not fresh into a run with fresh tires.
And we see that 25 is using up that apron coming across the tri-oval. The 77 is still staying on track, and we see the 25 get loose going into 1. He's coming up high going down the backstretch. There's about a car length and a half lead between both of them. We're going to have to stay on this battle, see if the 77 of Ariotti can make something happen.
Yeah, definitely a dangerous spot to be there on the bottom of the apron, or going onto the apron in the front stretch. Very bumpy down there. The possibility of damaging your race car, and then, like you said, what you just did, get loose into turn 1. You're carrying a little more momentum as you sweep up to the track, barely avoiding the wall before turning it back down into turn 1, and that's one of the dangers of running the apron at any track, but especially here at Kentucky with how flat this racetrack is.
77's going to look low. He's brought that lead about a 25 by half a car length. He still can't get quite under him. Have to see if he can get under him going into turn 1 right here. As he's going low on the tri-oval, still doesn't use that apron.
No, I think you'll see a lot of the drivers use the apron. I know Jake Nichols and Tyler Sifford and Nate Trito are a big advocate of not using the apron in fear of damaging their car or getting loose, but Tyler Ducharme is going a little bit dangerously and deciding to use that apron as he is starting to pull away from the 3rd place of Delonte Ballard, but Ariotti is keeping tight to Tyler.
The 25 is kind of like a wild child. You'll see that car get really loose, and then you're still able to see him control it. And as the 67 gets a very big run on the 21 of Devontae Ballard, but Delonte's able to use the momentum and still able to stay in front of him.
Yeah, I've noticed last night in the Xfinity Series race, not a lot of momentum on the apron for sure, or not a lot of momentum out of turn 4 if you run half a line wrong. Now it's all about corner exit now, setting up for these backstretch or these straightaways here, and turn 4 is really my weakest corner. I just cannot find a fast line to run that would get the run off, and I think that's going to be the issues for some of these drivers if that run goes on, is adjusting their line.
And that 67, he's able to pull up right to the 21's back bumper right now. Looks like he's changing his lines up, chaining his entries and brakes up just a little bit, try to see if he can make something work.
I am sure he will, and that's what a lot of these drivers are doing. Nancy, I saw your comment out there. I'm sure Joe's typing up a paragraph about what was happening. I believe Tom got caught under a lap down, or caught him a lap down under that last caution. He had to take the wave around there, and he's going to try to make his way up through the field as he's still sitting in 11th spot.
And the reason we switched this battle between the 67 and 21 is because Tyler Ducharme is taking that lead out to 0.7 of a second, but right now the 67 of Cameron Hearn is taking it high on the 21 of Delonte Ballard. He's going to do the crossover, he's going to go low, and it looks like the 21 just might have let him go. The 67 is going to try to pull a slide job on him, see if he's able to hold it coming out of 2.
I believe you might be a little bit behind here. Davis is there coming out of turn 2 this time, and David Shutt, I believe, just got around Delonte Ballard. Yeah, Delonte Ballard starting to lose a couple spots here. Going to look to stop the bleeding a little bit as the 9 and the 97 of Mike Rominger and Nate Trada are going to start to fight behind him. That's going to give Delonte just a little bit of breathing room.
Good call there. I think I was probably about a lap behind or half a lap behind right there, so I apologize for that one, folks.
Looks like Tyler Ducharme is finding something on the long run that these guys aren't. He's extended his lead on Ariati out to about a second now, just under a second last time. As he's starting to pull away from the rest of the field. Cameron Hearn took that 3rd spot as David Shutt's going to have something to say about that, as David Shutt's going to go around the outside of Cameron Hearn looking for that 3rd spot, and he will clear him out of turn 4.
Speaking of having something to say, I know Joe White's always got something to say.
Just sitting back here, man, watching this awesome action right now, and you're right. Looks like Ariati there for a few might have had something for Tyler Ducharme, but again, he's checking out on the field big time. Battle right now, though, has got to be what y'all were talking right there. David Shutt, Cameron Hearn, Delonte Ballard, Mike Rominger in the mix. I mean, all those guys right there are nose to tail, and it's heating up a little bit. The problem is, I just don't know if this race keeps on the pace that it's going at lap 103 or 104 here, 185. Now, unless Tyler Ducharme just actually makes a mistake, he's definitely, I mean, it's looking like what Alan J. Elwood did last night.
You're right about that one. He's brought that lead up to about 1.1 seconds. And Joe, I know you've been keeping a close eye on it. What's the update with the points?
Well, as of right now, like we said, Nick Hunt, unfortunately, sitting right back there in the back where he is. You know, the points really will be heating up as we go into Michigan in another week or so, another 2 weeks. You know, Nick Hunt right there in 19th spot, and I think we were talking about Delonte Ballard. He's right in there in the mix around 9th place or so, but he's sitting currently in 5th. I mean, definitely looking good on that end. I mean, obviously, we got to get through Michigan, and that's the biggest one there. But you got to make it through this race too. If Delonte can come out of here with a good finish, along with some of the other guys, man, up front, it definitely will help them out going into that last race. Nick getting caught up in the incident earlier on, not going to help him out too much. Just unfortunate, you know, it's racing. You know, Davis, Ethan, y'all two know, and even myself, you know, it's just one of them deals. You get out here, you never know what's going to happen. Danger lurks around every corner. Man, it's just one of those deals. And I want to quick give a shout out, man, to all the viewers out there. You know, good race, man, right now these guys are putting on. You know, Extreme Motorsports 99.com Cup Series. Hey, I've said it a million times. These are some of the best here at iRacing, some of the best here at Extreme, and they're showing it here tonight with these bad, fast machines out here.
Yes, sir. You were talking about danger lurks on every corner. The Extreme Truck Series went here 2 or 3 weeks ago, I believe. I run in that as well on Tuesday nights, and I was sitting 5th place coming to the checkered flag, and 2nd through 4th wrecked. I ended up finishing 3rd there. Car behind me got by me right before the line, but like you said, I was accepting a 5th place finish or whatever, and I ended up finishing 3rd, and that's what you're talking about, that danger, right, to avoid that wreck, and very unexpected, and you have to be ready for something to happen at any moment.
Oh, there you go. And Davis, I know you've been in the same scenario. I believe it was one of the plate races, if I'm not mistaken. Man, we're coming up through the field right there. You was in 3rd or 4th, and next thing you know, within a lap, man, you're way back in the pack. It just happens in racing. It's one of those deals that can, I mean, I've been in those positions. Man, I'm having a good finish. Next thing I know, boom, man, I'm in a wall somewhere going, what in the world? Or vice versa, like you said. Sitting back there, man, there's no way I got a car, truck that can get up front. Next thing you know, boom. Hey, you end up with a better finish than what you want. So, racing is one of those, I guess you could put it with the lottery.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of skill involved here with these cars, but there's also a lot of luck. I mean, as we've seen last night, I got involved in an accident, complete freak accident, wasn't expecting to happen. But then, like you said, there's other races where I was expecting a 20th place finish, and we get a few cautions here. I get on the lead lap, and I find myself in the top 10. A lot of it's driving skill, a lot of it's the luck too.
Yeah, and I agree with you on that one. You're right. I mean, and that's, you know, skill, I'll say in these cars, a lot of skill is really needs to be involved. I mean, because these things out here are a very finesse style car. You can't come out here and just muscle this thing around. You can do a little, but this car here will jump out and bite you. The Cup car, Gen 6 is what they call it in real life. We call it the A car here on iRacing, but this car will jump out and bite you if you try to say, look, you're going to do what I want it to do. It'll sometimes tell you, no, I'm going to do what I want it to do. You just got to just drive it and be smooth with it.
And Joe, I know everyone loves the Blimpie cam, but I know we're about to start green flag pit stops for only about 10 or so laps. You want to give these fans a rundown?
We can do that. Let's get it set up here right fast, because I know we got our man out front right here. Old Tyler Ducharme, he's looking strong here tonight. Man's got definitely an awesome looking machine out here. And I can't get my right camera angle here. Well, there we go. Good deal. Well, that man out front right there, Tyler Ducharme, he put it on pole here tonight, and he has led 95 laps here of 112. Been very dominant in that number 25. Definitely a turn of events for him as he's out front leading this one. But right there in second place, come the hitman himself, the 77 of Ariati. He started 5th, sitting in 2nd right now. 3rd place man, David Shutt, the Nightmare. He loves the nighttime atmosphere. Why not? Well, he's moved up from 18th to 3rd right now, sitting there, and David Shutt is. 4th place man, Cameron Hearn. Well, he swept it last week at Richmond, and he's looking to do it again. Had a very fast car last night, come from 22nd. Currently sitting in 4th. 5th place man there, Nate Trito. Well, he put it on pole last night, and definitely from 21st all the way to 5th. 6th place man, Mike Rominger, Mr. Extreme himself. He's currently sitting in the 6th spot with that Napa know-how machine. 7th place man, Delonte Ballard, the showstopper. He started 6th. He's maintaining right up there in the front side with the slam machine that he's got on Twitch. James Thorndike looking to capitalize on a very good finish last night. Won tonight so far. He's sitting in the 8th place spot. 9th place man, Tyler Sifford, Mr. Popular himself there. Currently started 9th, sitting in 9th right now. 10th place man, Ryan Cobb. He's got that Knights machine with the Rick Motec right there on the side. Man loves road racing. Loves to do all kinds of things. Come over here with the Corgi team at 51 of Ryan Cobb right now. 10th place, 11th place man, Tom Whitmore with a Dre broadcast machine out there. Started 4th, he's back in 11th. Got caught up in that pit road action there on the caution. Had to do a little bit of wave around. Got marred back in traffic, but he'll be back up front for this one's over with. 12th place man, Dylan Landry. He's the other part of the Corgi team here. as he's currently running right there in the 12th place spot. 13th place man, Michael R. Muller. Got that Duralast GT. He's hoping he lasts throughout this whole entire race. Right now, doing a fine job in that 27th. 13th, or well, 15th place, Jake Nichols. We call him the Superman. He's coming on pits. He's got some damage on that car. Not the night he wants. Just does not love the nighttime atmosphere. And definitely just not a race he would probably just like to forget about. Stephen Landry, right there in 16th spot. He's got that one. And we also got Mike Franklin. Started 19th. Well, he's currently up in the 17th place right now. I got the Black Rifle Coffee Company. Well, if you want a shotgun and some coffee, I guess that's a good combination either way. If you're, I guess, hunting or whatnot. Right now, 18th place, Mason Weitzel. I think he got caught up in that pit road deal on that caution. Got him marred back there, but looked good in the Dre broadcast machine. Currently in 16th, but hey, he'll be back up front before this one's over with. 19th place man, Nick Hutt. We were talking about it. He is right there. He's still in as far as chase points goes, but he's got that 00 with the one hair flying in the win in the 19th spot. He's just out here trying to get, points is of a premium. We were talking about it going into Michigan. He needs them because he is right there within the 11th and 12th spot and definitely could get knocked out. Well, we got some drivers out of the race tonight. David Elliott, Mark Bratchard, Matt Hoover, Tristan Anderson, Vern Bradley, just to name a few of the guys that are already out of the race here tonight. And that takes us back up here to this man who is just putting on a dominating performance, Tyler Ducharme, and at 25. And guys, some nice looking paint jobs, some nice looking cars, and that concludes our OSR Network rundown order. And I hope everybody out there in the chat liked that.
Well, I'm always a big fan of that and the Blimpy Cam.
Awesome.
I'm a big fan of the rundown. I make a couple of paint schemes for the guys out running here, so I like to see my work being shown off here. As it looked like Cameron Hearn having a little bit of an issue. Looked like he blinked out there. He's been in pit road for a while now. Definitely an interesting issue with him. We'll have to see if we can get an update on what happened there, if it was just a blink or what's happening here, but not looking good for him if it is a issue that'll affect his race. And he's definitely still in pit road, so something happened to him.
We've got a handful of drivers on pit road right now, including our leader, Tyler Ducharme, as he's getting 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel. All right, I'll get it out in a second. Full tank of fuel.
Yeah, definitely. They're running on fuel here. We talked about how important tires were, but you can, last night is the same way. You could definitely hold on to your tires long enough here to make it on a full tank of fuel. I believe we're only running about 14 gallons of fuel, and we're not running full fuel here at Extreme Motorsports. Only about, like I said, 14 gallons. Definitely not as long of a run, but definitely still as important.
And Joe, maybe you'll know, think this will be the last time these drivers go down pit road? Or do you think they got to make one more stop?
In the Xfinity, I would have said yes, probably. Maybe. Well, no, even in the Xfinity, no. I think actually they're still going to have to make another pit stop because you're talking about going 60-some laps still. Roughly right at 60 laps, if my math's correct. I have to get out my redneck calculator and try it. But I got a feeling if they can make it the entire distance, boy, that's stretching it. I mean, last night I believe y'all were going, what, 50-some laps, maybe 50 laps?
I was definitely thinking one more stop from here. I think it's too long to go. I don't remember how long last night was exactly, but definitely going to be one more stop from here, I think.
Yeah, and we got some guys out there in the chat. I'll talk about, yeah, maybe 20 to go. That's probably what I'm thinking. And then there brings up another scenario. That's a good question there, Dave. You're talking about knowing that you have to pit again. If this race goes green, which has had some very good long green flag runs, we've only had a couple cautions so far tonight. Real quick summary right fast. Actually, we have 2 cautions, 122 laps of 185, 7 lead changes, 2 cautions here tonight. So very, very good out there so far. So it has that way about it tonight to where it looks like it could go green the rest of the way. So with that in mind, as a driver, you've got to take another pit stop. Do you take it later? Do you take it early? you know, that could be the all-important thing, and I guess it's going to depend on where you're at on the track.
Well, Joe, as we've seen all night, Tyler Ducharme is completely dominated, so you got to do something different than he does. So whatever he does, you want to do the complete opposite. Personally, if you've been back in the pack around the 6th, 7th, 8th spot, I'd pit a couple laps earlier just to see if you can make something, but that's if the race stays green. And now we've seen it before, time and time again. These drivers get on these green flag pit stops, and right in the middle of it, caution comes out. So you got to put that in your mind as well.
Yes, sir. Strategy gonna start to be a big point here. Not as much fuel strategy, obviously. Like we said, we had to make it one more stop, but definitely when you're gonna pit, that type of strategy to make sure you can make it to the end and have a shot at the win. And I mentioned Cameron Hearn earlier. He's disconnected from the server. I don't want to sound like Rick Allen here, but championship implications for him.
Yeah, wow. I just noticed that myself there. Cameron Hearn out, and he had a dominant car here tonight. It's just unfortunate. Everybody, you know, we forget, we get caught up in all this action right now, guys, that it is a sim, and we are online here, and things happen, you know, as far as internet connection and servers and stuff like that. Anything like that can happen, and you're right. I'll have to go back and look. Maybe I'll do some research here in just a second. I'm not sure that Cameron has a, well, take it back. Yes, he does have a win because he won Richmond. So, I don't think that's going to hurt him too bad going in as far as the chase goes. Let me look, I'll go back and look and see exactly where he is in points because he still has to make that 20th cut line even though he has a win to be in the chase. So, obviously, I know he has the 8 races there, but, you know, going in, so maybe not as bad as what we're thinking.
No, now that you mentioned that, I think he was sitting in, I believe, 3rd or 4th in points coming into tonight. So yeah, it'll hurt him, but not as much as some of the other guys like Nick Hunt, who are in 17th, still a lap down. He has been able to make his way up. Stephen Landry is still a lap down as well, and drivers like Matt Hoover, Mark Bratcher, and David Elliott, who all disconnected earlier in the race. Yeah,
you're right there. Just having to look, Cameron Hearn coming into this one 3rd in points. So yeah, that disconnect not going to be bad. Even though bad, not going to be bad. The one thing he's going to be able to see is the fact of last night and tonight, what his car actually will do. And look good as it looks like Ethan, man, dropped out on us, Davis.
Yeah, he sent me a message that he'd be right back in a second. But Joe, we were talking about fuel strategy, and what I noticed is the 51 of Ryan Cobb. He was the last car to pit on the same fuel strategy that everyone else is on. So I'm wondering maybe if he was hoping for a caution, or if he's got some strategy in the back of his mind that's going to set him up here after we make one more pit stop for the last run of the night.
Well, even if he would have pushed that thing to, let's say, lap 135, that still would have put him, around about 50 laps to make it. I just don't think these cars can go 50 laps. I know the Xfinity last night could, but it's just, you know, this car doesn't seem like it has the same fuel mileage and whatnot to go. Obviously, you know, bigger motor, more power and whatnot, uses all that, but I just got a feeling these guys still going to have to make it. Now, with that said, what he did, though, set himself up. He gets in, everybody has to make a pit stop. He might could get a far enough lead with the laps out there that might, these guys might not just, they might just run out of time trying to catch him. But again, that goes back to when they make their pit stops. If, let's say, Tyler Ducharme here within the next, I don't know, let's just devil advocate it out a little bit, next 25 laps makes a pit stop, that's going to force everybody who wants to make a pit stop with 20 or 15 to go, that's going to force their hand because Tyler Ducharme now has made it way early.
Well, Joe, he's definitely not holding anything back right now. He's saving fuel because I was watching him right there. He got into the outside wall just a bit. It looks like it dented the side of his car. Gonna see if that impacts. I'm gonna have to pay attention to his lap times as he just ran at 31.490. Now he has fresher tires, and Tyler Ducharme ran at 31.901.
Ouch! Hate to see that. So Ethan, what you think out here so far? What is your opinion on the pit strategy? If you was a driver, what would be going through your mind?
Pit strategy. I'm not good with this. I've crew chiefed a couple races for my friends here and there, but when I'm in the race, normally Nate or Jake is with me, and they can tell me what to do. But man, I don't know. I'd take into account when we pitted, and then I'd set a strategy for that, unless something changes, like Ducharme pits, or if a caution comes out there. If a caution comes out between now and, I don't know, around lap 140, 145, that'll definitely throw a wrench into everybody's plans here, and then it'll become a fuel conservation race and fuel strategy race. But yeah, and you were talking about that wall. So they hit the wall earlier. It did to their right side. We haven't talked about that wall too much. The track has been tight all night. I don't think we've seen it get much looser like the drivers thought it was going to, but that wall can definitely be killer here at Kentucky. I was thinking Texas, because Texas, that turn 2 wall will bite you, but here at Kentucky, the track is so flat, you move up the track so quickly, that wall comes out of nowhere even after the safer barrier ends.
Well, right now, we've got a battle right here between the 15 of Dylan Landry, the 6 of Tom Whitmore, and the 9 of Mike Rominger. Mike Rominger's kind of taken off from him, but this battle right here is really heating up between the 6 and the 15.
And definitely a battle, like you said, starting to heat up here as we get into the later stages of this race. Track position starting to get intense, and 9 and 99 of Mike Rominger and Mason Witzel in front of them, starting to battle. And we talked about track position earlier and how hard it was to get here. They're definitely going to want to look to pass each other before we pit here and get in front of those drivers and try to stay in front of them.
You're right. Right now, we're talking about the 51s. He just passed Jake Nichols. Jake Nichols got quite a bit of damage. We touched on it earlier. So it's just not his race, not his night. And right now, Tyler Ducharme got the lead again, 2.1 seconds ahead of David Schutz, Joe. I'm not sure if you're able to look it up. Can you see how many laps Tyler's actually led?
Tyler Ducharme, yeah. 1 second.
I would imagine
111.
90% of them.
Yeah, 111 laps out here right now. Led this track. I mean, he's putting it down big time here tonight. I mean, he's doing what Alan J. Elwood did last night. I mean, we got 48 to go here. Right now, he's with 112 laps of it. That actually puts Mason Weitzel. He's led 11. Delonte Ballard's had 3, 2 to James Thorndike, 3 to Bobby Cheney. Ryan Cobb's had 5. So kind of give you a rundown on. And then Mike Rominger's led 1 out there. So, again, bonus points. That's another thing. Yeah, bonus points for leading, bonus points for winning, and obviously position stuff too.
And every point matters. As we seen last year in the playoffs, these drivers, you get into the top 12 to make the chase, the points were separated by literally points. There was a bunch of ties, I know for sure.
Yeah, and it's amazing these guys can go 10 races, normally more than 10 weeks here, and then come down to 1 or 2 points, or even 0 sometimes.
Well, guys, who's y'all's favorite out here? I gotta ask.
Man, well, Joe, I like a bit of controversy. Now, I do like the 51 of Ryan Cobb, but I do like some controversy. So let's see if the 25 of Tyler Ducharme can hold on and pull that thing into victory lane.
Yeah, it'd be hard to pick against Tyler Ducharme at this rate. He's just been dominating this whole race. But if I had to pick somebody else, the 97 and Nate Trado's been a threat. He's worked his way up through from 21st up to 4th here with just under 45 laps to go. Him or Ariotti, they've been up front in the majority of the race. I think definitely two of them, or one of the two of them, could definitely pose as a threat to Tyler Ducharme. There's a nice 6-car battle here back in about, what is that, 7th spot. They're 3 wide right now. Mason Witzel, Delonte Ballard, and James Thorndike they're all going to get single file as soon as I say that, but the battle is definitely still going on there.
And yeah, they are battling out as we've seen the 6 of Tom Whitmore. He had to let out of the throttle, actually kind of got into the quarter panel, the 59 of James Thorndike. And I think Mason Wetzel, he's seen that going on, and he was like, okay, Okay, y'all go ahead and y'all deal with that, and I'll hang back here and watch and see what happens. Right now it's the 7 of Tyler Sifford. It's going to try to look low on the 6 of Tom Whitmore, and then we got the 15 of Dylan Landry and the 21 of Delonte Ballard. And what I'm seeing right now is these drivers, they're trying to search for some new lines out here, and I'm seeing that top line just get really, really loose on exit.
Yeah, that's something interesting you'll have to see as the race progresses on. That happened in the truck. I didn't notice it happened much in the Xfinity car last night, but a couple weeks ago. Definitely felt the truck to get a little bit more loose, and something last night using that apron a little bit to turn, obviously not too much because you don't want it to spin your car out, but using that apron, I don't think those drivers have been get low enough to use that, but definitely see later in the run if somebody further in the back who's got nothing to lose experiments with it and tries to see if it works.
And that 99 of Mason Wetzel, I wouldn't be surprised if he comes in down pit road here within the next 2-3 laps, because he is battling a ill handling race car right now, as that car is everywhere.
Definitely interesting to see. Maybe he burnt his tires off a little bit quicker than he wanted to, or maybe it's just the product of that run starting to go on and get further on as the race progresses. And as we say that, Mason Wetzel's coming onto pit road right now.
You're right. He almost spins it on pit road, but he's able to control it down. Gonna have to see maybe if he got a speeding penalty or not, or if he was able to back it down in time.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier, but this pit road is just so difficult to get on it, partially because of how fast these cars are going in the middle of the corner, partially because of how difficult the track is and how old these tires are. And it does look like he will be getting a speeding penalty. We'll be able to see if that tacks on to the end of his stop. It appears like it is, as he's leaving the box now.
Okay, so he was not able to get a speeding penalty, correct?
I thought he would have, but it looks like he was in the box not long enough to get a speeding penalty. Maybe he did. Oh, maybe he did now that I'm looking at it now, but definitely going to be unfortunate for him if he did get a speeding penalty.
He was able to back that thing from 100 to 50 in about 20 feet. That was an impressive job by the 99 of Mason Wetzel and the Dre Broadcasting Network Ford.
Yeah, I do believe he got a penalty there. He's in his box for a long amount of time there. Unfortunate for him, but like you said, he did a great job not spinning it out, but still getting that speeding penalty.
Joe, anything to chime in?
Well, I see that he had a 16-second pit stop there, so I don't know if it's a matter of, just a slow stop or the penalty. Obviously, don't have confirmation from any of the admins and whatnot. Either way, though, definitely, unfortunate, because that's going to hurt, especially when these guys are out here putting down, 14 and 13 stops. Now, the one thing I have noticed, he talked about getting in and off pit road. The animated crews that they have brought in, I say animated, but the pit crews that they've brought in has made it a lot harder. We were talking about that before the race between us up here. A lot harder to get in and out of your pit box. You got to be more precise about moving in. And what I've seen a lot of guys overshooting the pit box or not being able to get in there right. I also noticed the pit time's been a little bit slower than what they were and so forth. Now, obviously, in real life racing, we might see that next year too. They might not be quite as fast as what they normally were, but we're starting to see a lot more of the 14, 15 second pit stops as opposed to the, maybe the 13 second ones that we were accustomed to seeing for a while. So could be the fact that he overshot it. Like you said, it's impressive for these guys to come from 100 and some mile an hour all the way down to 50, and like you said, a matter of feet.
Yeah, I think you're spot on when you said the pit stops will be getting longer next year in a NASCAR ruling that only 5 guys can go over the wall instead of 6, eliminating what we would presume to be one of the tire carriers. Well, it definitely have to be one of the tire carriers, the changers and the jackman and the gasman being obviously too important for that. But definitely be able to see how different teams adapt to that and which ones adapt better and which ones don't.
Right now, as we see the 25 of Tyler Ducharme, he puts the 73 of Jake Nichols a lap down.
Well, that's something you don't hear all the time. I'll just go ahead and say it. Just not the night, man. Jake wanted it, and he alluded to it last night. Talked about this is just not his style racing, not his style of track, and again, just something you just don't hear. We call him the Superman. Just does not have bad races. Well, folks, there you go. If you ever wanted to see, and I know everybody says, well, Jake Nichols, man, is he just don't make mistakes. He don't do this and that. Well, here you go. First for everything. He had a race last night, wasn't the best. Tonight's not the best. So, I mean, it happens to the best of them.
It does, Joe. And right now, the 25 of Tyler Ducharme is going down pit road, and the 1 of David Schultz follows in with a handful of other drivers. I think this is going to be their last pit stop of the night. So right now, if you've got it, bring it.
Did you just say David Schultz?
I'm glad I heard that. I heard that too.
I've
been saying that all night.
Ain't that like a, what's that? Sounds like that, ain't that a commercial with something like that on it?
Yeah, well, that's my apology, David.
Yeah. The Schultz, I was like, there's a commercial, and I'm thinking in my mind, I've heard that saying somewhere before.
I guess I've heard it on the commercial too, because I think I've been saying Schultz all season.
That's all right. Hey, don't feel bad, man. As bad as I mess up some of these names out here, hey, it'll be all right.
Hey, well, that's all right. We'll get it figured out, and I'll get it together right now. As like we were saying, green flag pit stops underway. This will be their last one of the night, and you know, the way things have been looking, this race could finish under green and stay green for these last 30 laps. But you know, we always say that a caution always comes out, so we'll have to pay attention and see what happens.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one there, and I mean, you guys up here have been doing a great job up here in the booth. I want to appreciate everybody that's tuning in. You know, we're here live here tonight. Kentucky Speedway, ExtremeMotorsports99.com. Cup Series under green flag stops, and we had quite a few of them here tonight so far. But that man Tyler Ducharme has done nothing but dominate all night long. He's trying to work over Ariotti right now. Ariotti has yet to take his pit stop. He might have taken it, just might have missed it. But either way, those two are battling it out. Even though we got 30 laps left, guys, still tires can play a factor. You have definitely got to watch the tire wear. As I say that, though, Tyler Ducharme's the one out here, just like Alan J. Elwood last night. It seems like, well, the tires to them just are rock solid, and Ariotti's in the wall.
Yeah, just a little bit there, not too much. It's going to affect his race car, but luckily he did not destroy the wall completely, and that's going to let Tyler Ducharme get it by him, and Ducharme is going to set his sights on Jake Nichols. Now, loses back up to P3 during these pit stops here, and Ryan Cobb and Michael Mueller not making their pit stops yet. I'm pretty sure Jake Nichols did. We were talking about that earlier. So, yes, he did make his stop, but definitely going to be interesting as this race comes to a close here, and Tyler Ducharme just blows by Jake Nichols.
I want to touch on something somebody just said out there, Chuck Sweeting. He said he thinks the 51 can make it on fuel. I'm going to tell you what, if he can, that would be a feat. The problem is Tyler Ducharme's only 16 seconds back with 28 to go. Let's look at the lap times. At 32.7 is what Ryan Cobb ran at one lap to Tyler Ducharme's 31.3. That is about a second and a half a lap. Definitely would run out of time to be out there if he keeps going at the pace it is now. So even if he can make it, Tyler Ducharme's going to be right there on his back bumper before this one's over with probably about 10 to go, or let's say a little less than 10 to go.
Hey, Joe, well, that's all you need is if he's able to stay up here out front, is Tyler Ducharme keeps going, keeps running those laps, his tires are going to get older and older and older, and his times are going to start falling off. Maybe Ryan Cobb could stay up there, throw some moves on him, stay out front. You know, he can get to his bumper, but that doesn't mean he's going to pass him. But like he said, It's going to be very close. And the thing I think Ryan Cobb is going to hope for is get a caution here in about 10 or so laps. That way he stays in the lead and everyone has to pit as well.
Yep, you're right.
Yeah, definitely be a benefit for him. Even if Ryan Cobb can't make it on fuel, obviously he's going to run out of time for people like Tyler Ducharme, Ariati, David Shutt, maybe Nate Trado even, but that's still going to be a positive for him. He's not going to lose as many spots as he would have if he had if he pits now. I think he's pretty much committed to staying out at this point, either hoping for a caution or running this out to the finish, because like I just said, it's still going to be a benefit for him. He qualified 14th. I'm not sure where he was running before pit stops, but definitely going to be a positive for him if he can finish this race out and not have to pit again.
Well, looks like Paul out there, he said, yeah, the tires do fall off, and says he don't think the 25 will be there. Well, I thought that last night with the 4-2 of Alan J. Elwood. He was battling through the field a lot, and that's what me and Dave also talked about. And, you know, hey, I agree. I've seen things here in racing, and obviously when you use your tires up, they do fall off the course of a race. But, you know, it's like Alan J. Elwood last night. I mean, he went too wide, you know, side-by-side racing for a while and was able to maintain and still was a rocket ship out there. Tyler Ducharme is still the same. The problem with Ryan Cobb's tires are going to fall off as the run goes on, and he's already, you know, down about a 1.2 seconds of a lap to Tyler, and that leads now down to 9 seconds with 23 to go. That's within the course of only 5 laps here that Tyler's been able to eat into that lead, and he's doing it lap after lap. But like what Davis said, catching and passing, that's two different things. If you catch him, he's got to be very careful on passing him though. But Ryan Cobb, if he can make it the whole entire way, here's the good thing, like Ethan mentioned. Even if he doesn't pull off the victory, it definitely could be a good finish for him tonight.
And there's this thing called evening out here. The tires are going to start to wear more for Tyler Ducharme than they are for Ryan Cobb, just because Ryan doesn't have that much left on his tires. But I definitely think Tyler Ducharme is definitely going to get there in time. The battle we might be able to see is Tyler Ducharme versus Ariati and David Shutt. Ariati and David Shutt battling for that 3rd spot right now. But if Tyler Ducharme is running his tires off a little bit more than he was that first run, there might just be enough time for Ariati and David to catch him, but I'm going to doubt that, but it'll definitely be an interesting finish if we can see that happen.
I'm going to go right here and say it. If Ryan Cobb is able to save enough fuel and hold him off, he can come out of here with a win. Like I said, we've seen it the whole entire night. This track has been more one group. There's only been one group to pass and one group to run around. And the 51 of Ryan Cobb, he's the leader, and he's using that groove.
You're right. You know, I'll give you that one on there. It's just interesting, I mean, to see right now as Tyler Ducharme is about 4.2 seconds back. We're watching the lap times. Last time Ryan Cobb had a 33.1 to Tyler's 31.8 to still maintaining about 1.2, 1.3 seconds on the times there. So Tyler is coming in a hurry. And you're talking about there Ariati and David Shutt. David Shutt goes on the inside of Ariati and takes that spot away. David Shutt actually, as of right now, is running times comparable to Tyler Ducharme. He would love to see a caution to close that gap up and maybe get up there. Obviously, Ryan Cobb would definitely not want to see a caution. But he would, I think, David Shutt would love to see a caution and maybe get that thing up there and race.
Well, Joe, to play the devil's advocate here, I think the 51 of Ryan Cobb would love to see a caution, because if a caution comes right now, every single one of these drivers is going to go down pit road and get 4 tires, and guess who's going to be in the lead with fresh tires?
That's true. Battle would be off pit road. And 2, we did see it last night there, Davis, 2 tires. You know, that could play a factor if a caution came out late with 18 to go here. So anything is possible. Hey, I mean, we're drivers. I mean, the one thing that we do see is the fact Tyler Ducharme is closing in on the leader. He's right now 2 seconds back and still running about, it's a little less than a second. Oh, Ryan Cobb, he's coming on pit road. Well, never mind, throw our paperwork out the window now. That's over with.
Yeah, right now we see the 51 of Ryan Cobb coming down pit road, and yep, all that talk and all that work and all that debate and just came to nothing.
Yeah, definitely shocking to see Ryan come onto pit road. Wasn't expecting that, like we said. Definitely think it would have been a benefit for him to stay out and let it run to the finish with just 17 laps to go here, coming back to 16 to go, as that's going to put the lead in Tyler Ducharme's hands, with David Shutt and Ariati slowly catching Tyler and going to start knocking on that window.
I like what John said up there. Never understood the devil advocate thing. I didn't either. It just sounds like a cool thing to say. So, and everybody else said it. So, there you go.
Hey, you always got to play the devil's advocate. I got to have someone to argue with.
Paul goes, yes, you're right. 2 tires would actually loosen these cars up, and it's a thing you would do. The problem is, you know, you've got to be strategic about that. You can't just go throwing 2 tires up on a car and loosen it up and go, oh, I'm going to go faster, because, well, at some point you're actually going to go slower with it. So, but you are right. It will loosen it up, and it plays into the hands of some drivers out here and helps them out later on in the race. Obviously, at 15 to go, you could think about throwing 2 tires on, loosening it up a little bit if you got too tight of a car.
I would normally agree with you, but I think the tires just wear too much here at this racetrack. There's just not enough time. It's not even the fact that there's not enough time. It's just a matter of the car is going to be too loose and the car is not going to handle like you want it to. Yeah, it's going to loosen it up, but you're still not going to be as fast as if you were on 4 tires. But Ariati and David Shutt not being able to close that gap on Tyler Ducharme now, as Tyler Ducharme starting to gap them a little bit as we close in on 13 laps to go.
What a heartbreaker. The 51 East came down pit road again for the 2nd time. Got caught speeding, and that's pretty much going to end his night.
I hate to see that, man, guys. I mean, it was doing good. Ryan Cobb, good guy. I got to talk to him several times, man, throughout the season here. You know, he's running that Rick Motec on the side with the night scheme. He's one of the actual stewards over on the roadside here at ExtremeMotorsports99.com. Does a fine job. Loves road racing over there. You know, that's the Rick Motec series. And I'll tell you what, you think the Cup guys here at Extreme are some awesome drivers. Go check them boys out on Monday night on Apex Racing TV there. If you love road racing, they got some of the best in iRacing here. As we got a battle heating up for the 2nd spot. David Shutt, Ariati. And I got to say it, I'm going to go ahead. Top 3 guys, SRA, Sim Racing Authority. And they come out here with authority. Tyler Ducharme out front, David Shutt in 2nd, Ariati sitting in 3rd. I mean, these bad fat cats, man, came up with some awesome cars here tonight. Unpacked them on the hauler. I said, we're planning to do something tonight.
As somebody who would really like to see those David Shutt and Ariati battle is that 97 and 8 Trado. I haven't talked a lot about him tonight. He's lurking back there 2 seconds behind David Shutt and Ariati, and he'd love to see them go to battle. He'll look to get a top 3 finish, and he's in 4th right now, which is good for him, and Delonte Ballard behind him. But really, those 4 guys, Tyler Ducharme, David Shutt, Ariati, and Nate Trado, are the only ones that I think really have a shot to win this race here, and everybody else is right around a half a track behind the leader.
And the heartbreaks just keep coming for the 51 of Ryan Cobb. He comes off of 4, loses it, goes through the grass, is able to keep it off the wall and keep it straight, but still, just what a heartbreaker.
Yeah, I hate to see that, man. Out front, man, and going there, just not the night he wants to. Look at this battle here. They might be teammates, but they definitely want to take that spot away. Ariati's looking on the inside of David Shutt. Guys, I always said business is picking up here. You know, run what you brung. We got 9 laps to go in this one tonight.
And you're right, we do. Tyler Ducharme's got a 2.9 second lead. That battle for 2nd is heating up right now. As you said, the 77. And the one is the 77 of Ariati. Well, I was on replay again.
Davis is just trying to go in a rewind mode on us here, Ethan.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I've been gone. I haven't done a podcast in about a month, and apparently I got to kick the rust off.
I tell you what, it's awesome. Well, Ethan, what do you think? I mean, you got a good battle for second here. They are teammates, but we've seen it before. These guys race each other very, very hard. You see David Shutt, he's got his hands full with that car coming out of turn 2. That thing looks like it's evil handling right now.
Oh yeah, I know what I'm looking for. I'm looking for them to get really battling here and let Nate catch up. I'm friends with Nate. I'd love to see him get a top 3 finish here, be able to interview him, but I think they'll definitely see them start to slow down a little bit. Nate's gained about 5/10 on him. No, don't know if he has enough time unless they battle side by side for the remaining 6 laps, but definitely Nate's gonna hope maybe they get into each other. Maybe they both wreck like what happened to me in the truck series a couple weeks ago, and maybe they both wreck and Nate can pull off the 2nd place finish, but he's definitely looking for them to battle and let Nate get an opportunity to catch up.
He's slightly faster, Davis.
He is, and that one of David Shutt, he got loose coming off the corners, able to regain control of it. And just to highlight on the night, David Shutt has had Shutt. He just came from the back. He's gotten hit multiple times, spun her around, and he's in 2nd place right now, battling with the 77 of Ariotti.
And you're right, good bounce back on his end. I mean, tonight, and looking very good. Points-wise, definitely going to help him out here, along with Ariotti. He's definitely still got his hands full. I mean, it's not over with. When you come across the line, going to be 5 to go here. And that brings up that so important, question that I throw out there. Obviously, the last lap, that ends it. Well, 5 to go. If a caution comes out at this point, that will end it too. So right now, we're in the green flag. You're talking about Nate Trito sitting right there in 4th place. Alante Ballard, he's marred way back in 5th place. You're right, though. Nate would love to see those guys get up there, start just, chewing at each other a little bit, so he might maybe close in and have a hope of taking maybe one of them top 3 spots away.
The 77 Ariotti, he might have just used up too much tires battling with the one of David Shutt, but we've still got about 3 laps left to go here, so gonna have to see maybe the 77's just cooling his tires off and getting a 2nd win under him.
I don't know if y'all two noticed this too, but not only that battle for 2nd, we got a good battle going on back here. Mike Rominger, Tom Whitmore, Tyler Sifford, and those 2 guys, men, are hammering on each other, and that's actually for the 7th and 8th place spot.
And you're right now, number 7 of Tyler Sifford's right behind the 6 of Tom Whitmore. Decides to use that middle lane on the track, and the 6 uses the low lane, then comes up high.
And definitely looking to cut off that 7's momentum here as the 6 pulls away a little bit out of turn 4. Those 3 cars trying to battle each other for that position, and it looks like that's gonna be the only position they can get, unless they can catch Mike Rominger quickly. As we're coming back here to 2 laps to go. Next time the line is Tyler Sifford pulling over and letting James Thorndike by. That's a very interesting move by Tyler.
I wasn't a pulling over, Ethan. Boy, he had that thing kicking sideways out the turn there. I don't know if he caught it or not.
Oh, yeah, I was just about to say that, but he was able to regain control of that. Only lost 1 position, but he was on a bucking bull there for a second.
Wild ride for the 7, Mr. Popular. Could have been disastrous. James Thorndike moves it up in the 8th spot, and you're right, with 2 to go. I mean, it's been all Tyler Ducharme all night long. The battle for 2nd right here, David Shutt, Ariotti, and you got Nate Trito in the 4th place there. Delonte Ballard rounds out the top 5, guys. It has been an awesome race. Has 1 more lap now, and that man in the 25 is going to pull it home.
And as we're coming here to the checkers, Joe, I'm going to let you call the rest of it.
All right, coming out of turn 4 for the final time here tonight at Kentucky. That man, the number 25, bounced back from last week's disaster at Richmond, and man, pulls it off in dominating fashion. Tyler Ducharme, what a win. What an awesome performance there in that SRA machine. He definitely, man, showed what he had to do here all night long. And that was, I mean, it was just a dominating performance, just like Alan J. Elwood last night. That man right there, he did the same thing. So he must have got in talking with Alan and said, hey, show me some pointers. What'd you do last night? Because I need some help. And he came out here with authority, sim racing authority, and pulled off the win. Awesome bounce back for him. And you got to look, David Shutt, Ariotti, it's an SRA sweep here tonight in the top 3.
You know, maybe before we get into these interviews, that is I believe that should be a Elwood Designs painted car. Elwood Designs painted car. Alan Elwood, I believe, created that scheme, and there's gonna be a big team celebration on that front stretch as Tyler Ducharme and the rest of his friends celebrate that victory.
You're 100% right, and let's see if we can't get a couple of these guys up here. We're looking for Tyler Ducharme. Let's see, we gotta go way down there to Jake Nichols Racing Party down here. Holy cow! All right, we got Tyler Ducharme. Let's bring him.
Yeah, they've got about 6 or 7 of them celebrating right now. When Tyler Ducharme was coming around that cool-down lap, it looked like him and the 77 of Ariati were in synchronization.
Oh yeah, and you know, a good win for him. Obviously, you know, not going to be able to, you know, it's not going to help him in a chase or anything like that. But just to get a win here, I mean, that in itself is just saying a lot. It's very tough to win in the series, and it's awesome. And Alan J. Elwood on the Facebook side, yes, Elwood Design in Victory Lane. Awesome, awesome, awesome. You're right. Well, let's bring up our third place man. And which one of y'all want to talk to?
I'll take Ariati's interview.
All right, let's bring up Ariati and let's get to talk with him.
Well, Ariati, you finished third after a great battle with your teammate there, David Shutt. How was the car and how was the race, and how frustrating was it to not be able to get by Tyler Ducharme?
I actually thought I had the car in the long run to beat there, and I don't know what happened, if I just got too excited on that restart and when I saw his bumper and just tried to ended up burning out my tires. I think that's what probably happened. No doubt he was really fast in the long run. I really can't complain starting where I did at the beginning of the race there, kind of made my way through the field, and yeah, it would have been nice. I've been struggling to get a win in this league. It's really tough and competitive, so I'll take a top 5, but yeah, I really wanted that win tonight.
I know you've been going through a lot of personal stuff. I hear you getting ready for a move and whatnot, not being able to be on as much as you wanted to. How much does this mean to you? Because like I said, you haven't been able to be on as much as you'd like.
Yeah, I'm trying to race as much as I can. I don't want to fall behind, especially with this new build. So, yeah, it's I don't know. I know Nichols had some problems tonight. Cameron Hearn as well was. I'm not sure what happened to him, but there are some really, really fast guys in this league, and whenever you can finish in the top 10, top 5, it's really something worth. It's a pretty good accomplishment. So I'll take a top 5. I definitely would like a win before the end of the season, but so long as I'm in the chase, I guess that's going to keep my hopes alive. So we'll keep fighting, and I don't know, we'll see what happens.
And like you said, you are very happy with the top 5. Anybody you'd like to thank for the top 5 finish?
Yeah, I got to thank you guys for putting these races on. So it's really professional, it's organized, and actually I really love running here. So I got to thank you guys for putting the races on and broadcasting. I got to thank all the drivers for showing up every week in the numbers they do, and just big congrats to all the SRA Jake Nichols teammates who finished all tonight. So yeah, that's about it.
Well, congrats on that 3rd place finish. Hopefully see the momentum continue into the chase and to the rest of the season.
I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys, man, right there's Ariati become the hitman. Well, I'll tell you what, he definitely was trying everything he could here tonight. And that number 77 machine just didn't have enough to get the 2nd spot. Well, you got David Shutt, another man here. So, David, you wanna take David?
Sounds good.
All right.
Hey, David Shutt. This is David Richards up here in the OSR Network booth. Man, I was calling you David Schultz all night. I don't know if I've called you that all season or if it was just tonight, but luckily we were able to correct that halfway through the race. Man, we seen you out there battling with the 77 of Ariati. Man, you went through a race, seen you get tapped a couple of times, seen you completely do a 180 on the track. Man, just take us through that race and how you fought back and ended up with that second place.
Yeah, it was a long race. I didn't have any practice. First lap was pretty much my first laps on the track besides the one for qualifying. So took a long race for me to get the track taken care of, the new build. Really tight. So it sucks to lose to Tyler. Probably the person I really don't like to lose to the most, but he was fast all night, so I was able to make it up to second. I was kind of catching on him, but I needed a fresh run to hopefully maintain pace and possibly contend for the win.
Well, first time on the track other than qualifying. Well, that's amazing, pulling out that second place finish. You and those SRA boys, man, y'all had something going for you right now. Right there as y'all pulled a 1-2-3 finish.
Yep. We come out here to win. All of us started to work along with Jake Nichols to pretty much be the class of the field. So hopefully we can continue at for the rest of the season.
All right. Well, before I let you go, you got anyone out there you want to thank?
Thank everybody at SRA and Jake Nichols Racing. Had a great race. All the guys up in the booth. I look forward to watching this one later on.
All right. Well, sounds good. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Michigan.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right, man, guys, I'll tell you what, that's David Chuck calling the Nightmare, man. He definitely did his job. Coming here in second spot tonight. Look good. Well, I guess I'll head on down here to Victory Lane because I know this guy is definitely going to be ecstatic. Last week, Richmond, just not. It's something he just wants to forget about. But what a bounce back here tonight at Kentucky. Tyler Desharm, Joe White in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir, Joe.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tyler. Man, last night, Alan J. Elwood did it. He was on rails and dominated this track from the green flag to the end. Tonight, you had the car out there, and it was on rails and was dominated. Last week at Richmond was probably a race you want to forget about. But what a 180-degree turn here tonight. I mean, to go from, I guess what they say, always say, the old saying, from zero to hero. Well, you definitely did that tonight and pulled it off in the SRA camp, Sim Racing Authority. Won here. How's that feel to win here tonight at Kentucky?
Oh, just incredible after everything I've been through this season with. I don't think I finished a race on the lead lap. So, it's just huge. It's absolutely huge. Hopefully it bumped me up enough so I can get top 20 in points, and with the win, hopefully I can sneak my way into the chase. That'd be something if I can manage to pull that off. But it's been a while since I've won a league race anywhere. Just had no luck at all, and tonight, I couldn't believe it. I was waiting for the caution to come out that would, change the race, and it just never came. And it's an unbelievable feeling. When you can lap Jake Nichols, it's definitely, I mean, I know he had a little bit of damage, but still, I had to lap Jake Nichols, and I think that's the biggest thing. I'm like, oh my God. But just unbelievable. I'm stoked.
Well, and you know what? Every right to be. I mean, you came out here with an awesome machine and definitely dominated. And, there's another thing. That's a stat they can't take away. You're right. You lapped Jake Nichols out here is something you just don't hear of. Off night for him. And we were talking about it last week at Richmond was just a race, man. Just a bad race all in all. Everything that went wrong could go wrong in that race. But, man, to bounce back like this in your season, I know you're not in contention of the chase, which is coming up here in the next couple weeks as we go through a Christmas holiday. But to win here, is awesome, and to pull it off in such a dominating performance. I got to ask, though, was you a little worried when you were behind Ryan Cobb that you had enough time to run him down?
I think that I thought that he had the pit because I didn't know if he had enough gas, but you never know. The biggest worry is when Ari shuffled out ahead of me there on that last sequence of stops, because I just know Ari. I raced with him a lot, and I know how good he is to save tires, so I didn't know if I was going to be able to get around him or not. Now, when I came back around and saw the 51 sideways in front of me, that kind of scared me a little bit. But other than that, no, I mean, it was a smooth race. I mean, compared to last week, it was just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely, definitely smooth, and you're right there. I mean, for you guys out there, I mean, I know y'all teammates and whatnot, but y'all definitely, when it comes to racing, y'all race each other very, very hard and competitive out there. Very competitive spirits, and it's good to see. But hey, nonetheless, you pulled it off here tonight at Kentucky Speedway Extreme Motorsports 99.com Cup Series. Game out there, you want to thank Tyler?
First and foremost, I got to give a shout out to the SRA Jake Nichols Alliance, first through fifth, and just great race cars. Big shout out to Marcus Richardson for teaching me everything I know. And big shout out to Slam Nation, Matt Simpson, for he told me before the race it was my night, and showtime was it was gonna happen. So I didn't really believe him, but he was right. And thanks Bobby and everyone who sponsored his car. Alan Elwood for painting it 2 for 2. I guess you could say he won it last night, dominated, and I won it tonight in the car he painted. So I don't know if that's any connection or anything, but pretty cool. And Rick for putting on a league for everybody, and you for doing a broadcast, Joe.
Man, I appreciate it. As always, awesome shout outs there, man. And like you said, just a slew of people that make things happen for you. Again, can't take it away from you. Tyler Ducharme, winner tonight in dominating fashion. Kentucky Speedway, awesome win there. Again, congratulations, Tyler.
Yep, thanks, Joe.
All right, well, there you go. Guys, I tell you what, man, what an awesome race from the green flag to the checker flag, and that man did. And he's right. He just spoke of something there. Alan J. Elwood dominating last night. Well, and Alan J. Elwood's designed car in Tyler Ducharme dominating here tonight. So, well, will everybody start jumping on Alan J. Elwood's paint schemes here? Are we going to see a trend? Because, hey, it seems like they got some speed when they do. But, hey, guys, y'all got some final words on this one?
Yeah, Joe, well, like you said, I've already got the message wrote up to send that Alan J. Elwood to get his time on my Xfinity car, but what an awesome race here tonight. Tyler Ducharme, what a difference a week makes. You heard it from him. The guy was completely thrilled and excited. I haven't heard that kind of excitement in a while. And just congratulations to him. And I'm looking forward in 2 weeks to head out to Michigan for the last race of the regular season.
Yeah, almost what he said. It was an exciting race tonight. Got a little bit of a long run there and kind of slowed it down a little bit, but it was nice that we could talk about the race and what was happening. Excited for Michigan. I know Davis and I are looking forward to Michigan and the Xfinity car. It was a great race. I can't wait for the Cup finale at Michigan, and then I got my own truck finale in the Truck Series at Sonoma. That'll be an interesting race for sure. Got to get practicing for that, but yeah, great race. Excited to see how the regular season turns out, and excited to see how the chase turns out.
Well, good deal. Me too. I tell you what, as we get here, well, folks, like you say, it was an awesome race here under the lights in Kentucky. Tyler Ducharme pulling it off. We got one more race, and that's Michigan before the chase starts here at ExtremeMotorsports99.com for the Xfinity and the Cup Series. Well, we're off next week, so this is actually the last broadcast for first time for me in a while, actually, here at OSR Network for well over a week. So hang on to your hats. I'll probably be somewhere along the lines in a week. But until then, enjoy the Christmas time, folks, with the family, friends, and all the kids. And definitely, man, a Happy New Year to everyone out there, and appreciate everything everybody's done for OSR Network. All the leagues, all the drivers, all the viewers. 2017 has been an awesome year here. And until next year, that's kind of crazy to say it that way. Everyone, have a good night. Thanks for coming out.